You can watch videos all you want, but at the end of the day, you have to practice to actually get the skills to be good at Google Sheets or whatever you're learning. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. And in this video, we're going to be geared more towards the basics and the beginners in Google Sheets. And I'm going to start making more of these. So if you're looking for something more advanced, make sure to check out the folder that's linked in my description, and you'll be able to see if I have any other practice questions in my folder. And you can also check my playlists. But for this one, let's dive in. The first thing you need to do is make a copy of my practice sheet. So in my description, you'll see a link to this folder. And the one we want to look at is practice questions-beginner/basics. Right now, it's the only one, but like I said, I'm going to have more coming up here soon. Now, by default, I have a view only for everybody else except for myself. So in order to make a copy, you need to do one of two things. One, over here to the right where it says more actions, you can click right there and click make a copy from there. Or you can simply double click and then go to File, Make a Copy. And once you make a copy, you can name this whatever you want. So beginner, Google Sheets, practice, example, for example, and then click make a copy. All right, so now that we have a copy, we don't need to have this little red instructions anymore, so we can delete that. So for this exercise, we're going to use the data in our beginner practice 1 table, and we're going to answer the questions inside of our bubbles. Now, before you can answer any questions, whether it's real life or on a practice test, you need to understand the data that you're working with. So over here, we have our closed revenue for all of the second half of 2025. So these are the details around every single company where a deal was closed with the company that I'm working for. And the second half is July 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. And in column A, we have the associate. This is the person that closed the deal. In column B, we have the company name, and this is the name of the account where the deal was closed. In column C, we have the close date, and that's the date that the deal was finalized. In column D, we have the company size, and that's the size of the company of the deal that we closed, which region that company is in, and the amount that the deal was closed for. So for each of the questions, I'm going to read the question to you. Then I want you to pause. And when you pause, I want you to go to the cell right next to answer and put the formula in there. So that way you can find the answer yourself based off of the data that's here. If you get stumped, you can check this checkbox for a hint, and a hint will appear just to the right of that. Whenever you're done, you can always uncheck the checkbox, and that should give you what you need to continue. If it doesn't, no worries. You can press play and watch me do it in real time. Before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. And now, let's practice. So the first question is, how much revenue was closed in total? So all of these amounts, how much does that equal? Go ahead and pause it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now let's go for the answer. So to find the amount, we just need to do a simple sum formula. So we'll type equals sum, and then we're going to select all of the amounts. Once I press enter, you can see we have 136,751. So that's how much revenue was closed in total. And another hack is you can go ahead and drag this down to see the entire thing. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you have little aggregates that will default. So you can see sum 136,751, which is the same exact number that I got right here. All right, we're going to go ahead and go down. So how much revenue was won in the northern region? Go ahead and pause. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's see the answer. So in order to do this, we need to have the amount and we need to have the region. These are the only two columns that we care about. And specifically, we only care about the north region. So we want to use a sum if formula because we want to sum the amount if a specific criteria exists. So we'll type equals sum if, open parentheses. And in case it's hidden, you can click on the blue question mark to the left, and that will show you the exact order of what's needed. So we need the range first. The range is going to be the region. So let's go ahead and select all of that. Put a comma, and then we want just the north. So I'm going to put inside quotes, north. Then we'll put a comma, and now we need the sum range. This is all the amounts. And the biggest thing with this is that you have to make sure that both columns, the range, the criterion range, and the sum range, match with the number of rows selected. If you have more rows in one than less in the other, it's not going to work. So these have to match perfectly. So once I press enter, we have 32,217. And if I press $, now it's in currency form. Now the next question is how many total accounts were closed? And this is for all accounts listed. Go ahead and pause the video and we'll come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for this, we want to count all the different company names, and that will give us the amount of companies that were closed or the accounts that were closed. And a mistake that a lot of people make is they do equals count. Now, if you do equals count and then you select all those options, it's going to give you a 0. which is obviously incorrect. The reason why is because it only counts numbers. So since this is text, it's not going to count anything. It's only going to count numbers that exist within the range. So if I were to change this count to the amount instead of the company name, you can see that we have 32, and that's because there's 32 different numbers. But we don't want that. We want to count the actual companies themselves. So instead, we're going to use count A. And honestly, I've never used count. Count is pointless to me because it only counts the numbers. Count A is what I will use every single time. And that's because it doesn't matter what type of value, whether it's a number, a date, text, whatever, it will count it. I think of count A as count all. So count all values. Now all we have to do is simply select our range, press enter, and we have 32. There's 32 accounts that were closed during this list. All right, for small businesses in the north, how much revenue was 1? Go ahead and pause this and we'll come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for this, we have 3 different columns that we'll need. We have small business, which is a company size. We have north, which is a region. And we have the amount of revenue 1. So that tells us automatically that there's 2 conditions. So instead of some if like we had before, we need some ifs, which allows for as many conditions as you want. So we'll type equals some ifs, open parentheses. And then unlike some if where the sum range went last, instead we need the sum range to go first, so that way we can have as many conditions as we want, or criteria, conditions, whatever you want to call them. So the first thing we'll do is select the sum range. Then we'll put a comma. Now it doesn't matter which criteria range you list first, as long as the criterion is associated with the correct range. So let's go ahead and go in order from left to right, just for the heck of it. But you can go right to left, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to select all of the company sizes, put a comma, then inside quotes, we want the small business, so I'll put small business, then I'll put a comma. And now we're going to continue with the region. So now I'm going to select all of the different region options, put a comma, then inside quotes, I'll put north. And that's all we need to do here. So $13,803 was 1 in the northern region from small business companies. Now, how many unique associates are listed? And all the associates are listed right here under associate. Go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so for how many unique associates, there's kind of 2 things we need here. One, it asks how many, which leads to a count. And then unique, which means that we only want to count each one of these associates once. And if you look, you can see that there's several that are repeated multiple times. So over here, we're going to type equals count unique, and then all we'll do is select the associates. So we'll go ahead and select all the associates, press enter, and you can see that we have 21 unique associates. Next, which company had the highest amount? Go ahead and pause it, and we'll come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can do it kind of one or 2 ways. The easiest way is to simply click on the filter. So this little arrow right here, go to sort and select sort Z through A. Reason why we're doing Z through A instead of A through Z is because we want the highest to the lowest. Now, even though those are letters, the sentiment kind of remains the same, where A is the lowest of the alphabet, Z is the highest of the alphabet. So you can think of lowest to highest in those terms as well. And that works for numbers and everything else. So we'll do Z through A, and we can see right here, go all the way to the top, Muddled Mugs is the name of the company with the highest revenue, and the highest revenue is $5,909. So we could put that right there. Now another way to find the maximum is we could type in equals max, open parentheses, and we can select every single one of these options. And we get that 5,909. Now with the basic formulas, you need one more step to get the actual company name. But if you wanted to, you could type in 5,909, and it will show you which line in the table this is affiliated with, and you can see the company name from there. All right, now what was the average amount sold in the East region? So we need 2 things. We need the amount, and we need the region, and we want the average. So we're going to type in equals average. We're going to do average if, so that way we have that criterion of the East region, and we need the criterion range first. So we'll select all of the different regions. We'll put a comma, we'll put East inside of quotes. And then for the average range, we want the amounts. And now we can see that our average sales price, or the average amount sold in the East region, is $4,077.38. All right, the next one is which region had the highest closed revenue? Go ahead and pause this, and we'll start back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so this is super easy to do when it comes to slightly more advanced formulas, but using basic formulas, beginner formulas. All we have to do is do a sum if formula that we already did. Do that for each region, and then compare, see which one has the highest. So what we'll do over here to the right is we'll type equals unique, and then we'll select all of our different regions. And that will give us every single one of our regions. You can go one by one and see which ones are there, but you could miss something, so unique is a good way to extract all the unique values within a range. Over here to the right, we're going to type equals sum if, then we'll select the criterion, put a comma, and then this time instead of typing the name, we're simply going to click the cell that contains the value, and then put a comma, and we're going to select all the amounts. And once I press enter, we'll have the total for the South region. Now I have my formulas going off of a table, so that's why instead of seeing a range here, we see the region or the amount because it's an actual named range. But if you don't have it in a table form, then you'll need to anchor in the ranges before you shift things down. So let me show you what I mean by that. So let's go ahead and revert to unformatted data. And it's a little bit offset, but it's okay. All right, so now that I have no table here, you can see that we still are pointing to the same cells. So we have column E, cells E2 through E33. And we have column F, cells F2 through F33. And then we're also pointing to Q12, which is south. And that's that cell right here. So if I were to drag this formula down, it looks like something worked. But this is where you have to be super careful, and a lot of beginners make mistakes. If you look right here, instead of pointing to E2 through E33, now we're pointing to E3 through E34. So if I were to double click on this, you can see that now we're no longer including that top row. And we got lucky where west is not the top row that's being missed, so that's technically going to be a correct answer, but it doesn't mean that's always going to be the case. If this is west, then since it's no longer in range, it won't be counted. And since it won't be counted, you're going to have incorrect information. And this is designed like this because it's pointing now to west, which is exactly what we want. This is something called a relative reference. And when you use relative and absolute references strategically, it can make your life way easier when it comes to creating spreadsheets. So in this case, we have ranges. We don't ever really want ranges to shift. So you can counter this by doing one of two things. One, instead of selecting the data itself, what I usually do is I select the entire column. And when I select the entire column, it goes all the way through the end. So if I shift down, it's never going to go out of that column. And more importantly, if any data was added later on, it's automatically going to be included in that formula because it's already within range. If you were to select just through 33, anything that's added to row 34 and later will not be in range. And since it's not in range, it won't be included in the formula unless you manually extend the range being looked at. But in this case, let's go ahead over cell referencing. That way you understand how it works. So to keep things from moving, to make it an absolute reference, all we're going to do is put a $sign between each of the columns we want to stay the same and each of the rows we want to stay the same. And you can add this manually by typing in $signs. And you put one in front of every single row and column. So that way the entire range is staying the same. Or a quick way is you can press F4. And when you press F4, everything will be anchored in with the $sign. Since we're only shifting the formula up and down, we don't need to anchor anything in with the region reference. And I'll press enter. So now, when I drag this formula down, like I said, we're still going to get that same number because technically this one was not out of range, luckily. But if I were to look, now we still have that F2 and F33. So I'm going to drag this formula down, and even down here, we're still referencing the same exact columns each time. Now I'm going to go ahead and change this back just to prove a point. When you're doing cell reference, you can see here we are looking at the entire region, and then we're looking at the entire amount. So even if we drag this formula down, it's still going to be looking at the region and the amount. It will not be shifting anything, so you don't have to worry as much about cell referencing when you're in table form. So just putting that out there. But to answer our question, we can see that the West region has the highest revenue that was closed during this threshold. All right, before we get to the last question, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like this kind of content. And let me know in the comments which ones you found helpful, which ones you didn't, if you want to see more of something in the future, and overall what you thought of the video. And for the last question, we have how many small business accounts were closed in the South region? I'll go ahead and pause this, and we'll resume in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so a few things stick out to me. We have how many, which tells us we need a count formula. We have small business, which is one criteria. And we have the South region, which is another criterion. So that tells me that we need count ifs formula. All right, so over here we have the company size and we have the region. So let's go ahead and type equals count ifs. And we're going to have essentially the same concept that we did for sum ifs, but the only difference is that we don't need a sum range because we're not taking any averages or sums or anything like that. We're simply counting however many fall into that category. So for category 1, we'll do company size. And then inside quotes, we'll put small business. Then for company 2, we will put region. And we want to see the South region, so we'll simply inside quotes put South. So we have 3 accounts that were small business and closed in the South regions. If you want to check your work, you can do so with the filter. So for example, we can go right here to select filter column, and let's clear everything except for small business. And then for region, let's clear everything except for South. So you can see exactly which companies fall into that category for both small business and South in case you need any more information. I'll expand those back, and now we're good to go. All right, so that is everything for practice 1. And we'll continue with beginner practice 2 in the next video. And if you're feeling like you're kind of there, you're kind of not, but you need a little bit more guidance, make sure to check out my foundations playlist, and I'll link that in the description as well as at the end of this video. And that will give you a great insight into all these different aggregation formulas, like the sum formulas, count formulas, average formulas, things like that. And you'll really be on your way to having a good foundation when you're building your spreadsheets. Let me know down in the comments how you did on this practice, if there's anything that was too hard, too easy, or if you want to see something different in future videos. And as always, let me know if you have any questions and like and comment for more.